Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. Last time we ended up rescuing Cassia and getting our navigator out of Urac 5, and as I was on my way to Rykad Minoris, we had this pop up. Lord Captain, there is some commotion on the officer's deck. The lady navigator has left her quarters and is currently in the wardroom, where uninitiated crew members were shunning her in terror. Perhaps you could find out what has brought Cassia to the deck.
Lord Captain, my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
It pleases me to see you're adjusting to life aboard the ship.
Compared to Urac 5, your ship is a boundless world of unfamiliar hues. And yet, the abundance of bright colors can at times be wearisome on the eyes. The bridge and the decks are so clamorous. In my search for a place of quiet, I was fortunate to come upon this islet of serenity filled with rare tomes and practically devoid of color.
The events that took place on Urac 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Point at the book in Cassia's hands. I see you are fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves, and I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing. Urac 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
Are you satisfied with your new attendance?
Your servants are somewhat sluggish when it comes to attending a noblewoman of the Navis nobility, but they are quite tolerable. Thank you for your concern.
Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearance of navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is clear she does not feel comfortable aboard a ship teeming with new people. I hope that you have had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior and your question just now insulting. Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying? You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I. I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
You have nothing to apologize for. Human emotions are natural, be they good or bad. It is just as natural to share them with others.
Please forgive me. I cannot even understand myself right now. Your words and attention have reminded me of life on the station, of Theobald and Felek. I do not understand. They were merely the keepers of Urac 5. So why do memories of those two make me feel a strange heaviness here? At the same time, I find myself overwhelmed with new excitement and anticipation. At last, I have set foot outside my familiar walls, and into a world that I have only seen before in the pages of books. Your ship alone is a treasure trove of remarkable artifacts and curiosities. And just imagine the things that await beyond, but... My delight must seem childish to you, surely. In your heart, you must be finding all this quite amusing.
I understand that what you were going through. My own life was turned upside down not too long ago.
Indeed. I did not know. That is to say, I could not have known, as it is the first time we are speaking in a circumstance so... private. My word, when I found this place, it was so full of officers. Why did they all leave?
Perhaps my people did not wish to disturb you.
Or because my presence offends them. Then I must take my leave as well. I am due to inspect the Sanctum Navis after the communion ritual and prepare the chamber for the upcoming warp jump. Thank you for your company.
Alright, let's get to Rykad Minoris. This is gonna be potentially off screen. I'm gonna cut to the starport because I want to see if that pilot gets out of here or not. Yeah, so the pilot didn't do anything. He just was standing there. You couldn't even interact with him. And that is why you check your environment for any checks to get you a couple extra XP. Confer immunity might be good, but I don't know if that would work with regeneration, because giving temporary wounds every turn is useful. Increasing range isn't bad. Yeah, we'll take that, actually. Comprehensive analysis, that's really good. Just to stack exploits. Keep boosting weapons. Actually, no. We want to do ballistic skill. Because he needs to be able to shoot better. Yeah, we'll do instant exposure. It's always useful. Willpower. Honestly, increased critical hit chance is always good. And we'll do dueling mastery in case people close in on her. That's really strong. Every enemy that Navigator has in their line of sight has their dodge and hit chance reduced. That's definitely an Electrodynamic Cenobium if you ever showed me one.
I'm not satisfied with that answer. I will repeat my question again. The last Electro priest you killed, where did you find him? Burn in the fire of dawn, servant of the cop! And another one meets the limit of his utility. The last of them.
The tall, dark-haired man sizes you up with a quick glance. A supernatural chill is making the air around him crackle softly. The expensive fabric of his jacket is stitched with gold thread and marked by several reddish-brown stains. A forced sword and a vox hang from his belt, and the emblem of the Holy Inquisition glitters on his chest. Interrogator Von Calyx, I presume?
Yes. Since you know who I am, and are in no hurry to kill me, I infer that you serve the Emperor, not his enemies. Allow me to introduce myself. Interrogator Heinrich Van Kalox of the Imperial Inquisition's esteemed Ordo Xenos. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Shadow. A great big sun-eclipsing, chain-weaving shadow. I can see the threads, myriads of them extending toward us all, and all of them creeping off toward him like snakes, shrouding us in poison. My, oh my, do I sense trouble, and it's right in my throat. It itches.
A psyker? Interesting. And a diviner at that. Even more interesting. Are you sanctioned?
Don't you Inquisition me! I'm under the Rogue Trader's protection!
Adira is a member of my personal retinue, and it is under my protection.
Your retinue, you say? Then let's go back to my previous question. With whom do I have the honor of speaking?
Rogue trader Ulysses von Valancius.
Von Valancius? To the best of my knowledge, that dynasty is headed by the esteemed Theodora von Valancius. Has there been a change of circumstances?
Theodora is dead, slain by enemies of humanity.
The news is lamentable. My condolences. And I presume the heir to the sacred warrant of trade and the lofty title of Rogue Trader is none other than yourself. Well then, what precisely has brought you to the sanctum of the Omnissiah?
I'm here to collect you. I am under orders from the Lord Inquisitor to offer any assistance you may require, after which I'm to provide you safe passage to footfall aboard my ship.
Then the timing of our meeting is fortuitous. I am requisitioning you and your retinue for my task.
Requisitioning? Young man, your choice of words is unseemly to the point of insult. You're addressing a rogue trader.
I don't imagine you'll be any happier if I say taking into inquisitorial custody.
To aid his faithful servant in the fight against corruption is the solemn duty of all whose actions affect millions of the Imperium's subjects. Let your example guide those who will carry the Emperor's light across 1,000 stars.
You are familiar with the works of Inquisitor Alistar the Redeemer. Not every acolyte can say the same, let alone people less initiated. Please forgive my lapse in manners, Lady Navigator Orselio. It is a great honor. I came to Rykad Minoris on a mission, which a rebellion prevented me from fulfilling. The governor is convinced that malcontents from among the rabble were the instigators, but I immediately suspected a more sinister presence at the root of the mutiny. My visit to the monastery and a few unhurried conversations with some of the rebels confirmed my suspicions. Someone by the name of Aurora is leading the rebellion. Data indicates that the head of the cultists is here right now, in the sanctum of the ancient reactor. Given the prophecy of the Final Dawn, and the especial efforts made by the enemies of humanity to seize the monastery, their goal is to gain access to the Holy Power Source's control circuit and trigger a process that, once started, cannot be stopped. In other words, to detonate the reactor, thus being themselves the cause of their much-touted final dawn.
Blasphemous insanity.
As Heinrich von Kallik speaks, you suddenly notice the way he is looking at you, with his eyes slightly narrowed as if peering into your soul, a soul that is touched by the gift of sorcery. The change in your expression does not escape the interrogator's notice, and you see the corner of his mouth twitch. He must have instantly recognized a fellow psyker. I can help you with Aurora. Let's join forces.
Thank you. Regrettably, the governor's people showed themselves to be unprepared for the perils of this place. And extracting blade shards from a person's stomach is beyond my powers. I hope that a rogue trader's retinue will prove more capable than a group of soldiers fresh off the base. I am positive that not all of the electro-priests within these walls have perished. The heretics spoke of shadows emerging from side alleys to make short work of the cultists invading their abode. I surmise that the entrance to their hiding place is somewhere in the hall near a machine known as the Circular Cogitator. I imagine it's one of the local sacred relics which the electro-priests treat with special piety.
And yeah, we'll swap out Adira. Now we get to level up Heinrich a bunch. Get him biophysical distortion. What else can we tack on there for his psyker stuff? Can't give him... Oh, we can kind of give him psi rating 1. Yeah, that's something to note. Purge Soul. This power does not affect targets that lack souls. So you can deal a good amount of damage, but if someone doesn't have a soul, you're instantly SOL. We'll focus on Sanctic off rip. Probably not the best build for him, but best that I got at the moment. In terms of gear, he's actually in a pretty good state. He doesn't need me dumping anything into him. A tech priest body rests on a metal table, surrounded by sparking spirals of copper coil. A patina of sacred unguents covers his withered flesh. His augmetics have been polished with great care. Intricate electues cover the dead man's crossed arms and bare torso, and strands of wires envelop his head. Pascal respectfully bows his head before the dead man and carefully touches the shriveled body with the tip of his mechadendrite. Honored adherent, I thank you for showing us the truth of Fabricator General Pakrovar's maxim, death does not end the service of a spirit driven. Examine the body. The body seems motionless, but you notice a slight tremor in the fingertips. This ancient servant of the Omnissiah must be data dreaming. His mind, enveloped in digital reverie, can persist for hundreds or thousands of years, while his frail body is decaying. This sacred state of trance is a great reward only earned by the wisest and most pious servants of the machine god. Next to the table the body is resting on, you see small amulets crafted from burned cogitator circuit boards. There's no dust on these small offerings, they were left here quite recently. Can you hear me, Tech Priest? The light in the crypt becomes a little brighter and sharper, and the smell of ozone fills the air. The vox on the ceiling becomes alive and lets forth a solemn binaric aria that turns into a crackling, psalmant voice. In this dark hour, I am ready to bring you good tidings, Tech Brethren. Now respond with the words of the second Galvanic hymn. The second Galvanic hymn is a revered and miraculous prayer of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Naturally, you know it very well. Let us praise the twin charges, the body electric, and the Omnissiah, who lights the spark of reason within us, and let us carry his charge to those who have turned their minds towards his light. Let it be so indeed. Who or what are you? Praetor Electroid Dar Impulse II. By the will of the Omnissiah, the prior of this monastery, and the guardian of the miraculous fusion reactor, now and ever, world without end. Here in this cell of mine I have conquered death, and my mind has soared toward the Omnissiah in a blessed data dream. My body is decaying, but my spirit will remain by my master's side, for I am the sacred sentinel of the code, the guardian of the sacred relic, and the eye that watches over the rite of operation. Monastery is under attack by heretics, can you help? In my data dream, I saw their unholy requests and rejected them angrily, for it is said in the 4th Article of Security, no unbeliever's hand shall intrude upon the operation cycle. They have seditious designs on the relic, but should I give you, who does not belong to our faith and fellowship, my blessing to stand up to the blasphemers? I may not be a member of your priesthood, but you and I are of the same faith. This statement is true. The 1st Article of Security says, fear above all evils, the defilement of knowledge, and its command outweighs the prohibition contained in the 6th Article of Security, let knowledge be locked away from the ignorant. So be it. In the name of shaming the unbelievers, I grant you the blessing of special access and protection from the rage of the motive force. Dry crackling sounds come from inside the crypt's walls as awakened cogitators process the ancient tech priest's command. Neat. Cool. Protection from the fury of the motive force gives 3 deflection and 50% armor against shock damage. Permanent. I actually missed that one in my first run through. Damn, that's really good. Like, that's stupidly powerful. And it is going to let us breeze through some of these fights. Like this one right here. Wait a second. We're missing someone. Where did Cassia go? She should be here. Why are we suddenly a man down? Ooh. Nasty. So everybody gets extra resolve. I would do more, but I'd like to get an attack in here. Alright. The cogitator's green screen lights up as you approach it and displays the flashing message. Pilgrim, only the words of the first galvanic hymn will reveal to you the gifts hidden behind the veil of knowledge. Now chant with me. Let us sing this canticle to... The device's keyboard lights up, clearly expecting you to enter the rest of the verse. Don't worry, I have this already plotted out, because I know this one. The motive force that floweth through veins of copper. Verse 2 calls to you, Pilgrim, let us fill our souls with gratitude towards the arcane key that closeth the circuit. Now finish this prayer, Pilgrim. May the unity of the sacred charges power the immortal reason that hath created the spark. Only one who has learned the path of our Cenobium is worthy of its gifts. Walk the path of the enlightened, absorb their age-old wisdom, and sing with me again. Damn it. So it should have been, I guess, from the Omnisavu the holy discharge springeth forth. Arcane key. Spark. There we go. Verily so. A pilgrim who has learned our ways is worthy of the gifts of the enlightened. Let's go, free stuff. And the gun I want. Let's go again. Even though it's a two-handed weapon, I don't care. This thing legitimately slaps. When the wielder hits a target with the arc rifle, they also attack all enemies within 2 cells. So you just boink a dude and it pings off him. See, there's advantages to the noble sword, but the officer's chain sword is 1 damage lower, or 1 damage higher on the lower end, and more armor pen. So we'll leave it. Actually, yeah, let's look at this. Yeah, I'm gonna head out and see if I can grab Cassia, because we should have a 6-man team. Okay, so now we got everybody, but we lost our cool defense buff, which kinda sucks, but honestly, given the choices, I would rather have my team than the shock damage deflection. It's useful, but it's not gonna make or break my fights. More free stuff! Okay, we'll look at that charge staff for a second. No. Also no. Where did that staff go? Ah, upper right. Power level 9. And plus 10 willpower, okay. I think my other staff had that as well. Oh, plus 5, okay. Either way, that's a better option. And we get the heroic push ability. Plus power level 9, I think we deal more damage with that then. Even though I'm clearly not doing a whole lot of ranged attacks with my build, I'd like to eventually. Crap. Okay, start battle, I guess. We have to kind of rush forward because the electric on the wall here, it'll reset and kind of cycle through, zapping anyone in the way. So it's better to not be in the way of that when it comes around. Or if you're lucky, you can bait the enemy into standing there and getting zapped. I really contemplated taking a shot, but I'd rather have the actual fighters get hits in. Okay, so we lucked out and didn't get zapped, but we can't move, which is a little inconvenient. Might as well keep boosting our resolve. No, I'm not. I could burn it and get a free kill, but it's not worth the point. Like, I'm not gonna burn my heroic act for a 1-point damage hit. Wonder if I can cast that on myself again to get a 32 bonus instead. Because that'd be kind of nice. Because I regret putting it on me. Yeah, this is a fun one. Lidless Stare. Cone that deals pretty good damage. Can we hit him with a Held in My Gaze? Yep, Goombye. You can do next to nothing, so we're just gonna use a Psyker Power and end my turn. Nah, and he's out of range. This is the struggle we have now, is we gotta just stall for time. Oh, I can give it back to myself. That's cool. Actually, because that's a cycle, we got another couple turns we can work with. He's still gonna be out of range. No, he isn't. He's just really hard to hit. Let's go, Potshot Gang! I don't have line of sight. God, that's such a big boost. Hey, I think I overwrote his with a better iron arm. I can give a free turn. Yeah, we'll do it just to get Pascal moved up. Alright, cool. Easy dub. Okay, everybody stand here and look pretty. I don't want a bunch of idiots getting zapped for no good reason. Well, they're getting zapped anyways, because we're now here. Ooh, plasma gun. Okay, so we got lore. I would have appreciated, like, turning off everything. But yeah, what the hell, why not? Oh, so I can just, like... Can I turn these off? Oh no, it's literally just lore again. You know, on one hand, I appreciate the lore. On the other, I'd kind of like to not get hurt by these. Because I'd like to go into the final fight as stacked as possible. But instead I'm probably gonna have to like run everyone one at a time. Which is entirely doable. It's just tedious. And mostly my problem is fear of me trying to activate something and then the AI for the pathing just being like, oh, let us just walk back around this wall and get electrocuted. That's an interesting bit. The symbols are drawn incorrectly and they have standard issue military uniforms, which kind of implies maybe these guys were trying to, like, blend in. But then it's like, why did you do this instead of just working together on something? Like, strange. A crowd of cultists has surrounded a tech priest crucified upon a mechanism. A rhythmic whisper repeated by 100 voices blends into some blasphemous enchantment. Powerful discharges of the motive force run through the machine, causing the unfortunate prisoner's body to convulse brutally and forcing woeful cries of pain from his lips. The tech priest's hoarse voice echoes under the ceiling. In the clenched claws of stagnation, in the shackles of Iteration Zero, under the Iron Wing, let the cycle be discontinued. Pascal's mechadendrites spring into combat mode instantly and a wrathful rattle comes from his vox. I am registering a severe violation of the Purity Protocol. The Blessed Amarnat, my bad. The Blessed Amarnat has been captured by heretics and is being tortured. Are you sure he is Amarnat? Confirmed. I do not observe his face, but I recognize his words. Let the cycle be discontinued is the Blessed Amarnat's motto. Look around the hall. Heretics have taken up positions everywhere. and many more are doubtlessly hiding in the passages leading out of the hall. For now they are all focused on the sacrilegious torture of the tech priest and do not notice you. We must save the esteemed tech priest without risking his life. The Mechadendrite points to the corpses of heretics laying nearby. We can use the blasphemer's clothing as a disguise. Unrecognized, we can sabotage the power units, overloading them and thus cleansing the Hall of Heretics. The lightning discharges have charred the cultist corpses. Whiffs of smoke rise from their empty eye sockets, whose contents have evaporated. Their clothes, covered in the blood of innocents, are crudely painted over with emblems of the archenemy, which exude a repulsive air of soul decay. I shudder with disgust at the mere thought of having to touch clothing adorned with unholy symbols, let alone wear it. This is the first step toward falling, a small compromise with evil that will lead to something greater. Is there truly no other way, rogue trader? The signs of the archenemy are not just painted symbols, but conductors of its will. The words of its prayers, even spoken without faith, their coats of arms, even deceitfully worn, all this increases the presence of the ruinous powers near you and draws their corrupting attention to you. Cassia stares in horror at the corrupted clothes and the scattered human ashes. Don't make me. If it helps save a worthy man, I will put on the cultist robes. I pray that the Omnissiah gives the blessed Amarnat enough fortitude. Pascal grimaces as a new wail of pain rends the air. The heretic's garb clings to your skin like a greedy leech. Tingling and foul fever spread over your body, as though these tatters have imbibed the vile contents of its former wearer's soul. Let's go, we all look kind of weird. I want to see, can we actually... Oh, cool, we actually are wearing the outfits, and my beard is going right through it. I appreciate the little detail that the game actually includes the models in here so you can look at them. And her backpack has no texture, so it's bugged out. And her backpack has no texture, so it's bugged out. A heavy crown of neutral golden automatics rests on the servitor's head. The crown is bent and broken from ruthless gun butt blows. The pale body is covered in blasphemous inscriptions carved into the withered flesh. I identify this acolyte as a distribution servitor. I am registering upon it traces of sacrilegious violation of the right of operation. The probability of its responsiveness to commands is below average. Try to conduct a restart ceremony. For the glory of the Omnissiah, let this machine spirit sleep, that it may awaken and serve again. Pascal gently touches the servitor's crown, deactivating one of its segments. Let the outer neutral connection circuit be plunged in darkness. Another touch and several lights on the crown go out. Let the command response hub fall silent. Pascal switches to binary speech, accompanying his every action with a line from a sacred hymn. It is amazing how the reverent awe in the tech priest's voice can be discerned even through his rattling vox. Suddenly, every light on the servitor's crown comes alive. A shower of sparks bursts from the augmetics on the servitor's brow, and several black ash-tinted tears run from its empty eye sockets, ready to serve. Energize the hall's power units to the maximum. It will be done. Safety system control altar. The altar is adorned with gilded skulls. Threads of metal that used to be electus are fused to the bone. Once majestic, the altar has now been desecrated with blasphemous images of blue-green suns. Some of its levers and buttons have been pried from their sockets, but the mechanism still glorifies the Omnissiah with its operation. I identify this as the safety system control altar. For our diversion to succeed, this blessed machine must be executed, and may its spirit forgive us. Cause the altar to overload. Pascal offers a short binaric prayer, then enters command after command to set up a trap for the machine spirit inhabiting the altar. The code born out of the tech priest's tinkering causes the spirit to flutter confusedly in a snare of impossible commands, heat up the altar circuit boards and perish forever in the showers of sparks that burst forth from the melting wires. May we be granted the Omnisci's forgiveness for this act. I am registering a general shutdown of the security system. I think that's everything. Now we can just do this. A grim-looking heretic walks up to you resolutely, blocking your path. As he studies your disguise with suspicion, you note that his left eye has 2 conjoined irises, while his right eye has 4. I don't know you. Who are you, and why haven't I met you before? Throw up your hand sheepishly. I'm new, was just sent here to slaughter unbelievers, and I've only just finished. The cultist smiles bloodthirstily. Ah, you're new, that's right. Every newcomer must slit a false believer's throat to prove their loyalty to the edge of daybreak. Did you enjoy it all? You don't have to answer, I can see you did. Go ahead, brother. A tech priest's corpse, his throat slit, sits upon a splendid command throne laced with finely wrought motive force paths. A contorted expression of righteous anger is frozen on his face. A black blindfold covers his eyes. This is the Lumenodeacon's command throne. This is where the power unit actuation and shutdown litanies are recited from. The blessed Lumenodeacon himself has the honor of closing the circuit the motive force flows through. Sit upon the throne and recite the litany of actuation. I am about to be greatly honored, or else thoroughly charred, maybe both. As soon as you lay your hands on the command throne's panels, a painful sting of electricity numbs your senses for an instant, your fingers cramp up and your vision grows dim. Pain is visible in the tech priest's eyes as he looks upon the sacrilege. Forgive us, Omnisci, for such a gross violation of the right of operation. Repeat the litany after me and activate the command runes I point to. Pascal's Vox begins reciting the sacred words, gloomily and hoarsely. Clinging on to the blazing shreds of your fading consciousness, you repeat the words of the litany after Pascal and touch the command runes, as the unabating lightning rips through your muscles and makes your bones crackle. I am recording a successful activation of the power units. Easiest takedown ever. We don't get all the loot off the bodies, but I don't think we'd get anything worthwhile. Sometime I have to do this fight normally, though, just to see if we get anything of value. Because it's a lot of guys, but I think it's just going to be a lot of, like, las guns, crappy armor. Maybe the one named, or like kind of named dude we ran across might offer something, but in general I think it's pretty much just junk. Little did I know it's actually like the best weapon in the game just hidden here, and you take the easy route so you don't get it. Because yeah, if you look, it's just cultist fighters, gunners, fighter, gunner. And we all got rid of our disguise. In the cycles of the foreordained, there lurks a flaw of worship. The tech priest's body convulses. Pained, plaintive creaks of binaric prayers come from his vox. As moments pass, the signal becomes less and less clear, as if something twisted and wrong were being added to it. Pascal studies the tech priest's face carefully. His vox system moans in a tragic vibrato. Subject unidentified. This is not the blessed Amarnat. Stranger, I request your name. How do you know my mentor's motto? Examine the tech priest. There are deep burns all over his flesh, and the skin around his augmetics is charred. Blasphemous spells have been carved into his sacred iron, forming unholy litanies of scrap code. It is amazing how robust this tech priest's life support systems have proven to be in maintaining the spark of life in his grievously wounded body. Who are you, servant of the Omnissiah? The fire of the hearth sent forth sparks. The name of this spark is Abel Hanuman. The tech priest looks over to Pascal for a brief moment. His speech becomes clear. The echo of my call has reached you. Good. The iteration is at its end. The design is fulfilled. What is the intention? Why are you calling yourself by my name? Who is it? Was it you who summoned me to Rykad Minoris? What for? I categorically demand an answer. Pascal's voice rises to an intimidating howl, but the delirious tech priest does not seem to understand what he's saying. What design? An intention both bold and honorable, to open new gates for the waters of knowledge and comprehension, a plan written so that the righteous may flow, and trust in the great pattern of revelation and uniform progression towards it. Pascal's voice is trembling with elation. Those are his words. I have not heard them in so long. Ask him about Amarnat. You came here because of him after all. No, the tech priest's voice grows stronger. He came because of himself. Myself? To redeem myself, to correct a mistake, possibly. But how do you... There's a look of gentle condescension in Abel's eyes. Strange, given the circumstances. The hubris of the mind spurs him to build monuments to himself. Do not regret, for all is predetermined by the iteration. A devastating coughing fit cuts him off, and you hear a clang of tearing metal from inside his chest. You can talk to him once we get him out of here. A cold premonition rakes the heart. The probabilities are dark and frightening. Brother, I do not wish to gaze into them. We are the flame of knowledge that drives the darkness away. Pascal is quickly inspecting Abel's wounds, paying no mind to the blood and sacred unguents staining his sleeves. His voice rasps soothingly. Do not fear what is to come, brother. We are already here. Take down the tech priest crucified on the machine. As soon as you touch the tech priest's battered flesh, he shifts his gaze to you and says with sudden clarity, Many sparks have gone out, but not all. The electric shepherds are alive in the darkness. I heard their prayers. Find them, save them. Recite the hymn of contract circuit restoration, so that you may behold what is hidden. A blast of motive force runs down the tech priest's body, and his face contorts into a mocking grimace. Malformed binary code, repulsively jarring on the ears, pours out of his vox. Information archived to the effect that the circuit restoration hymn is the entrance password to the Electro Priest's hiding place. Pascal responds with dour hymns of a containment aria. I note with great sorrow that the cultist ritual has been partially successful. My tech brother has been tainted by corruption. He is in the grip of a schismatical, an unholy imitation of a machine spirit. I request immediate activation of the Texorcism protocol. I shall help save him. The possessed man responds with a burst of repulsive laughter. Every now and then, a word or two of Gothic finds its way into the binaric obscenities pouring out of his vox, in what seem to be the schismatical's tentative forays into a language that is alien to it. His body convulses, his joints twist at unnatural angles with the sound of bursting steel couplings. As the possessed man thrashes about, his internal augmetics emerge gradually through the hanging tatters of his flesh, as though an iron homunculus hidden inside the tech priest were trying to cast off the meat cocoon it no longer needed. Pascal's mechadendrite extends a thin drilling needle. Sacred unguent glistens on it. A code purification aria is heard as this needle sinks into the possessed tech priest's skull and touches his neural augmetic, forming an electric circuit with it. Extreme strain is visible on his voice. Furious litanies pour out of his vox. Result, failure. Requesting assistance. Send a purifying charge of the motive force into the possessed man's body. May the machine god heal you. Undaunted, you grab one of the severed cables and press it into the tech priest's body, and a shock of formidable power shakes the possessed man. Machine oil gushes out of his mouth. His vox hisses deafeningly as the flow of the motive force burns the corruption in his sacred iron. The overload destroys some of the circuit boards on his neural augmetic, resets his code, and erases the schismatical from existence. The tech priest's eyes roll up and he loses consciousness. Crushed, yet still alive and no longer in the thrall of corruption, with the utmost care, Pascal takes his body down from the mechanism and lays it on the floor. His stirring litanies of gratitude to the Omnissiah echo through the hall. Rest, Tech Brother. We will come back for you when we have done our duty to the miraculous fusion reactor. Lord Captain, the Omnissiah commands a pious mind to strive toward uncovering the truth. Therefore, I will not stop until I find my mentor and understand his connection to this servant of the machine god. I request the privilege of joining your retinue as a rightful companion. I can offer to fulfill the duties of an engine seer on your ship in exchange for the right to follow you and conduct my own investigation. And another level up. And we should get... something here, I don't know what. We'll just grab... we'll grab Dueling Mastery. Never say no to better parry chance. And we'll grab another bottom skill here. Persistent of the Forge. Forge World characters gain a stacking 10% bonus to hit chance and dodge reduction against any target they hit with a single target attack. Successful critical hits increase the hit chance and dodge reduction by 20%. Which just makes him... eventually we just build him to just keep shooting, which is wild. I think if you did like a Forge World whatever Argenta is, soldier, you could do some wild setups. We'll go Combat Master. You are more for strength because he's all melee. Yeah, swift movements. Make him move further so he's able to get between targets better. Yeah, a Forge World soldier, I think you could just be cracked. Once again, we'll do movement. We'll do Lore Imperium. Because that's just another skill I don't have to pour into. Do Perception. Yeah. Dueling Mastery. Because stuff like Dueling Mastery I think are kind of core skills. Everybody can use extra deflect chance, everyone can use extra like mobility sometimes. It's just their core. Yeah, the game says like we can loot all these bodies, but we can't. Tragically. A shortish, muscular man wearing the scarlet colors of the priesthood of Mars steps into your path. The wrinkles on his cheeks and forehead point to his propensity for frequent outbursts of fierce anger, but right now he is showing no signs of aggression. Glowing blue patterns of electric tattoos, or electus, show through his oddly bluish-tinted skin. The man's eye sockets are dark and empty, yet he turns his face straight towards you with no hesitation. He has a sharp, screeching voice not unlike a bird cawing. May the charge of the Omnissiah's mercy persist in the hands of the faithful. May the motive force persist in their batteries. Make the sign of the Aquila, the Emperor protects. The man responds curtly, as if giving a military command. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. The hallowed Electrodynamic Cenobium receives you, pilgrim. I am Dar Impulse the Sixth, a servant of the motive force and the Praetor Electroid of this sacred monastery. Pascal bows down humbly before the man. A trill of binaric symbols comes from this vox, to which the Praetor responds with a solemn gesture of blessing. Pascal turns to you and says, "The rank of Praetor Electroid is a sign of high standing within the Electro-Priest fraternity. To have been granted an audience is a great honor. You have the honor of hosting the Rogue Trader of House von Valancius. I urge you to follow proper etiquette when interacting with the eminent bearer of the sacred warrant. Within these walls, worldly titles are nothing before the motive force. Your deeds, however, speak far louder than titles, for your path here is sprayed with the blood of desecrators. Have a few questions about this place and the people in it. Truth is the light, and the blocking its path is criminal. The Praetor Electroid nods majestically. You are not like other members of the Adeptus Mechanicus I have met. Our faith imposes a duty of obedience on us. Every Electro-Priest is given numerous electus that combine in a blessed Voltgeist circuit, in not allowing feeble flesh to withstand the might of the motive force. That is why our skin glows with its light, and our eyes boil and melt when we are ordained. The Omnissiah's tears is what we call this phenomenon, this dying away of unworthy flesh as we shun the layperson's primitive means of looking at the world. We gain the ability to sense the motive force around us with our entire bodies. I understand everything there. What happened here and how did you manage to survive? When the heretics descended in droves upon the Cenobium, we gave battle, but the unholy foes buried the Omnissiah's warriors under a mass of their bodies, thus extinguishing the defender's sparks of purity. It was then that I ordered my few surviving brethren to retreat into the monastery's secret chambers. Upon taking refuge there, we began to destroy the blasphemous intruders in surreptitious ways. Alas, as fiery as my brethren's anger was, I had no right to permit them to die in honest combat, for the task of taking back our abode still lay ahead of us. I must commend the skill with which your secret chambers are concealed. You hear a tinge of wounded pride in Heinrich's words, as if he's upset about failing to discover the Electro-Priest shelter. Your choice of tactics are wise as well. There's no point in losing more lives in the massacre that the cultists wrought. The leader of the heretics fought her way into the ark wherein dwells the miraculous fusion reactor. She is trying to desecrate the rite of operation with her unholy litanies, so that the relic may be corrupted and the world of Rykad Minoris may perish in a font of fire. But my brethren, in their magnetic meditation, are hampering her efforts by chanting access request prayers in unison, thereby suppressing the commands that the blasphemers enter. Praetor Electroid nods towards his entranced comrades. This holy place will be protected against sacrilegious practices, I swear it. In the monastery, I was attacked by people who looked like Electro-Priests. That is a lamentable mistake. We knew of no help that was on its way, and were not expecting to encounter any allies in the monastery's chambers, but I see that you are alive, and I mourn the senseless deaths of my brethren. I wonder if you would have so touchingly mourned the Lord Captain's death, or if such sentiments would have only been awoken by the sound of our void ship delivering a punitive strike from orbit. My enforcers and the governor's guards can help you reclaim the monastery. I cannot allow this. Lay people are forbidden from visiting the monastery, and only a select few are allowed to behold the ark and the relic within. You and your retinue are pilgrims of a special status bestowed by the Emperor. However, should any soldier unblessed by the Omnissiah cross this monastery's threshold, I will deem them a heretic and have them put to death. Confirm, this presence of lay people on monastery grounds without the Praetor Electroid's blessing will be regarded as sacrilegious violation of the holy rite of operation. Heinrichs opens his mouth for a second to say something, but changes his mind and quietly clears his throat instead. Cassia nods thoughtfully. Yes, I see. House Arcelio follows the same rules when it comes to outsiders. You made the right decision when you chose to avoid combat and save yourselves. Thank you, Pilgrim. It was not easy watching unholy intruders stampede through the chambers of my temple. We all envied our brethren who had fallen before that sacrilege began. I wish to get to the holy reactor. I must press on. Oh, I didn't even read it, my bad. I've zoned out. May the charge of the Omnissiah's grace persist into the batteries of the faithful. I wonder if you could avoid the fight over here and just circle back around and then get those guys to help you. You probably could, which would be kind of cool. The face of the woman who stands before you is hidden behind a grotesque barred mask, yet the voice pouring out beneath it belongs to someone else. It is the husky, somber brass of a void wolf, a boarder of ships. How predictable your path is, how static. All the possible deaths you have skirted only to perish here in the fiery tempest that will mark the final dawn. The woman turns her mask to Pascal and gloats. You have arrived just in time, little cog. The schismaticals use your regalia like a mask to subdue the reactor. Pascal's voice rasped musingly. A cog. I cannot comprehend why apostates try to insult me by comparing me to the sacred symbol of our faith. It is irrational. His visor lights up like a crimson herald of bloodshed, and his drilling mechadendrite whirs viciously as he readies to strike. The sacred cog grinds all corruption to dust. From the dust I will build order. What a talented enemy. Can you do the governor's voice? I cannot. Slaves such as you and he have no voice. You are mute. The woman's voice breaks and shifts to a different pitch and timbre, a martyr's voice, young, fervent, and in pain. Time has all but run out. I can hear the fist of the future knocking on the door of the present. Choose quickly what you want to be when it walks in. A blind slave that is gone, a faithful servant of what is to come, or a corpse. It would take some time to wrest from you the details of the future that the cult prophesizes. Hopefully when we're done, what's left of you will be capable of coherent speech. What you'll be is a living torch blazing for his glory. Argenta's voice burns with pure hatred and trembles with impatience to make the promise come true. Ah, Cassius squints and looks away. Yellows, reds, violets, oranges, blues. Wild colors that scorch the eyes, but where the motley masks end, nothing but a colorless void remains. Enough, I will rid Rykad Minoris of your tyranny. The woman's voice becomes thin and brittle like that of an innocent child. Execute them in the name of the Edge of Daybreak. The Electro priests rip their hands off of their command panels, rending their flesh on the stakes that have pierced them, as their schismatical controlled bodies are imbued with the motive force's radiance. All the unfortunates can do is scream in horror and plead for a swift death. Aurora begins muttering an unholy litany in broken Gothic. You cannot make out her blasphemous words, but the name of the heretic keeps repeating. The Edge of Daybreak digs into your hearing like a blade into defenseless flesh. Its sound is almost physically painful. It spawns strange and impossible phantoms in your mind. However, you manage to muster your strength and banish it from your mind. Alright, that's a good team comp here. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Okay, unless it just whiffs. That's a neat parlor trick. No worries, we will handle this all the same. Give Argenta a free shot that she misses, of course. Because all we have to do, really, is kill the Electro Priests. But we'll take down everybody else. Not bad, but not great. I genuinely do wonder what a full auto build for her looks like. I've seen people do it, I just like the semi-auto guaranteed damage. I wonder why I got a wound already.
See my great works!
That ought to work now. Now please melt these guys. That's what I was looking for. Set him up for next turn. Oh, cool. Somebody turned into a chaos spawn. Exactly what I wanted. Stick.
Your blood will flow!
We'll just put down everybody we can. Because right side, even with everything going on, is pretty well set. Sworn enemy just for making sure we kill him. We'll just Blessing of the Emperor. Or Word of the Emperor. Yeah, we got 4 rounds. We can knock out these 3 guys within 4 rounds easy. Because the biggest thing will be that chaos spawn. I might have actually taken the wrong skill. If Expose Weakness is the one that's now free, I might have to respec characters at that rate. Not a big deal, though. Oh, we'll take the Electro Priest out from here. That's actually really good. And we'll start putting stuff on you. To start working him down. Really, no path to him. Okay. Whatever, we got it. That damage is nasty. And Pascal from downtown.
Your end is near!
So that's all done. Oops. You see why I like Pascal? His damage output is insane. It is criminal. He is a better sniper than I think the actual sniper character is. And I can't zap him. So this is a burn turn. Can't wait to get him a two-handed weapon. It's gonna spike his damage output like crazy. Yeah, so we're just gonna, like, walk back to the middle. Because we got nothing to do. Enough! Now an aged, rattling voice speaks to you from behind the bloodstained mask. You are powerless to halt the approach of what is to come. I see a crimson trail leading humanity to its doom. I see the glow of the final dawn, and that means existence has made its choice. A dagger flashes in Aurora's hand. She drives it into the control panel with all her strength. Now you'll see it too. A blinding voltaic arc bursts forth from the broken control panel and strikes at Aurora's uncanny mask. Its metal heats up, smoke billows through the bars. With a howl, the cultist collapses. The light, it's gone. What was that it? The final dawn? Why was it so different from what our teacher promised? Aurora shakes her head blindly. Her voice is now the voice of an ordinary middle-aged woman, frightened and in pain. You will pay for this. You... Her body goes limp and collapses to the floor. Her iron mask hits the ground with a dull thud. Pascal examines the corpse with contempt, then concludes dryly, confirming purgation and termination. Heinrichs grimaces in disgust. The heretic took her secrets with her. Pity. The motley hues have rejected her, leaving only a grayish-green thread, the noose that the heretic put around her own neck. I have seen this many times before. No one can escape fear itself. Heinrichs approaches Aurora's body and leans over it. A minute, please. Ulysses, I need no more than a minute. Inspect the control panel damaged by Aurora. The cogitator is probably well beyond repair, but your attention is drawn away from the sacred machine and toward the dagger sticking out of the control panel. On closer inspection, it turns out to be the lavishly decorated handguard of a sword whose blade has been pried out. Its pommel is decorated with a strange ornament resembling an eye covered by a scaled lid. What remains of the weapon has a blue sheen to it, the same tint as Kunrad's weapon during the mutiny on your void ship. This is no man-made object. It was grown from wraithbone, a material favored by the Eldari. As you lean over the shard, you hear a multitude of voices. They blend together, and individual words are distorted, as though they were mocking your attempts to grasp their meaning. The nagging whisper is like the burning red scratch of an unholy claw upon your mind. Heinrichs, take a look over here. Is this by any chance what you're looking for? Heinrichs raises his head, gets up, and makes a wry face as he carefully examines Aurora's weapon. This unholy object is the work of inhuman hands, and judging by the cold I'm sensing, it is a tool of the archenemy. I am most grateful for your vigilance. Heinrichs takes the strange shard out of the control panel and studies it for a few seconds. Curious, Heinrichs stows the corrupted object away and turns to you. Rogue Trader, on behalf of the Holy Ordos, I thank you for your cooperation and release you from requisition. From this point on, I am at your service. I am ready to come and board your ship and head for Footfall as soon as you deem it possible. That is, if you do not have any other business in the system in which case I'm prepared to assist you in his prompt resolution. Remove Aurora's mask. The iron helmet is firmly attached to the heretic's flesh. Her face is impossible to make out in the darkness behind the bars of her mask, but after peering at it for a little longer than necessary, you wonder if, for a moment, you saw something move. Let us finish cleansing this monastery, Pascal. Executing. Let the Omnissiah given motive force flow, and all obstacles in its path be eradicated. Yeah, let's get all that loot. And the casual chaos spawn. Oh, I didn't know you could actually just loop around. I guess if you were really dedicated to taking your time, and probably on higher difficulties, it's advised you focus down one side and just push around. It's actually a pretty reasonable design choice. Oh, I wanted to check journal. Alright. Well, I'm going to call it here. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.